Hey guys, Arthur here.
And Dave.
DNA Realty Group, always looking to add value to you. So today we're actually going to do an interview. And this year in our business, we're shadowing one mega agent per month to learn and grow our businesses. So the question we have is like, what are you doing to learn and grow your business, right?
Yep.
So today on our episode,
so exciting.
Actually, we don't even have a show name, but if you got ideas for our show, give it to us. Send us, tweet us, follow us on Snapchat,
are live.
LinkedIn.
And
But today,
sitting in this chair in about
we have
1 minute,
a superstar.
Somebody's gonna sit here, and it's
Unbelievable.
a very incredible
This guy's
surprise.
a stud. Without further ado,
author,
speaker,
everything.
mega
We love
agent,
this guy.
David
Woo!
Thank you.
So I'll give it like a
where's
quick,
my jacket?
dude, no jacket.
No jacket?
This
No,
is like,
I had to put a
I don't have a
coat on
jacket.
so we don't.
This is raw
wear-
and
I don't
uncut.
have a jacket.
So number one, you have a podcast,
Yes.
Yep.
author of a book, mega agent. How do you do it all?
I don't do it. No, it's I just show up, man. I just have a routine, schedule. Structured.
And you're a father. I forgot
I'm a
about
father.
that.
I've got 3 amazing daughters.
Three
That's
daughters.
my what I'm most proud of. You know, I've got 3 awesome daughters. I've got a beautiful wife,
You got a big
family.
business.
Hi,
Good
Dee.
business. I've got my
Shout outs
training.
to thee.
Training company, book. I get to hang out with cool people like you
Yeah.
guys. I got my podcast.
And we were just joking around about your training. Like, so many agents that we know went off and built off teams and they started on your team.
Oh,
So
man,
if you
it's
still had your
painful.
team,
Painful.
you'd be
You
like the
had-
#1 agent in all
In
of
the whole
Massachusetts.
world.
In the whole
In the
world.
world.
This guy
Oh,
literally
God.
would be #1.
Well,
He's
you
like,
know-
you're like Vince Lombardi.
Well, Jim Keenan said best. I'm like the college football coach. I get them for 2 years.
Yep.
I get to mold them, and then they go off to the NFL.
Like, they say,
it's
like-
been tough. It's bittersweet.
They say
It's
like
bittersweet.
Jim Rohn, in one way or another, is responsible for every motivational speaker's upbringing, right? They either
Jim
learn from
Rohn.
him or somebody else.
Well,
You're like the Jim Rohn of real
It's like
estate.
the guy before Jim Rohn. No, what was his name?
Yeah.
Nightingale or something.
Nightingale, nah. Jim Rohn's the guy.
Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn's the guy, but there's guys before Jim Rohn.
But Jim
Yeah.
Rohn's like the guy that made all the guys possible.
Yeah.
And that's
I'll-
like
all
you
right,
for
I'll
the
buy
real
that.
estate.
I'll buy
Peter
that.
Kiss.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So here's my first question for you. Is you do a lot, you're pretty successful in your own right. What's the mindset? Because I think action is important, and we'll actually put up some videos of the things you do, right? You
Yeah,
lead generate, you
not
show up
today.
every day.
Today we got.
But what's your
beat
mindset?
down.
What's your
Beat down.
mindset? That when
Actually,
you
I
get
want to know what you do after a beatdown day.
Well, you saw it today.
You got beat down
days.
today.
It's just
So
one
like,
of
what are
those-
you thinking?
So
you
here,
show up
well, I
tomorrow?
focus on the positive, right? We put 4 listings on today.
Wow.
I
I didn't know
put
that.
a pending. We put on. In the
When do
Worcester
you do
office.
that? When you
4.
run to the bathroom, you put.
I didn't
put
put
one
those
UAG?
on. I got 3 admins.
So it's leverage.
Yeah, of course. And then we
Go
had a
over to-
pending. We had a property go under contract. We got 2 other people making calls. So I got to focus on that. I can't focus on the person that said no to me and hung up on me.
So it's leverage of building a team. It sounds like.
Well, yeah. I mean, you guys may ask me 2 different questions.
Well, what was his
right?
question? You can answer his question. He doesn't
Answer my
remember.
question. How do you keep
Oh,
going
yeah,
after a day?
Oh yeah, get
After a day of
You
defeat.
guys got to learn how to interview.
It's
better,
all right, we'll
man.
fire-
we'll
You guys
fire-
are
we'll
fire.
fire this
They
guy.
love the
I mean,
raw.
I
How
do
do you-
a professional podcast.
how do you-
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
Today's
but-
Thursday, tomorrow's going to be Friday, and all day. Well, you guys had some good successes, right, as a team.
Yeah, we got to.
You've made some calls that weren't the greatest, right, like results, but I
Well, it's follow up too, right?
follow up too. I feel like what should people, if they're going to be in this business long term, what should
Yeah.
they be looking out for, and what should they do on the rough days? Because inevitably they're going to have rough days, right?
Well, I think it's all just consistency, right? I mean, so if you're consistent enough, you're
Right,
going to have
yeah.
good days, and then you're going to have other days that aren't so great. But at the end, if you're consistently showing up, making the calls, talking to people, having the conversations, going on appointments, practicing what you say, right? Practicing listening, then consistently you're gonna get the result. I mean, will I get 100%? Hell no. Nobody does, right?
Right.
No matter how good I could be the best, I could be a ninja.
You are a ninja.
But it doesn't matter. No matter what, there's still going to be people that, they're just, the timing doesn't make sense for them.
Yeah.
Right? They're not interested in my offer at this point. They have other interests, other people, other realtors that they feel they're committed to. That's just life. But I got to keep showing up, and I got to be the best version of myself. And I feel like if I do that, then the results are going to be there.
What does your day and week look like? Like, what do you do every day to generate business?
Well, I think it starts with my head. I gotta get up. I get up early. I get up at 5, and I do my hydrate myself. I drink 14 ounces of water really quick. I do my meditation. I do 15 minutes meditation, anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes a day. I read 5 pages every morning before I start. I make sure I look at my calendar now because I was actually missing things. I don't check my email before 11, but I do look at my calendar now to make sure I know what's in my schedule.
Yeah.
And then I work out. I work out 6 days a week. It's really important. And recently I started playing basketball again, which has been awesome.
So we gotta challenge you to a basketball match. I'll get some
3-point
I will
contest.
Take you to school.
I will just I'll slap
So,
you a ball.
so you,
and
that was
follow
good.
through.
You actually answered the morning ritual question for me, so that was good. Awesome. What's the size of your goals like for this year? What are you guys looking to do production wise in real estate, all that good stuff?
Our goal is 250 units, 2018,
Wow, that's-
which is about 40 million volume. Yeah, we'll do a little less than half of that, 2017, which is good because it was a rebuilding year. I don't know if my situation, I had a team that pretty much dismantled at the end of 2016, so I had to rebuild, and it's been a good year. You know, we learned a lot. I feel like I worked on my leadership. I made a few bucks, did all right. I got a great family. We're going to Disney in a couple weeks. You know what I mean?
No
It's
way.
Living the good life.
You getting a couple extra tickets for us?
We do all right. My daughters are, get to go to nice, good places and nice, family life. And yeah, life's good. I can't complain. I'm going to see Gary Vee in a couple weeks.
Gary Vee, you
just,
owe him a podcast.
But you know what? The goals are big, man. Really, really big. I mean,
Love it.
just I feel like if you look at people like Peter Diamandis and Tony Robbins and Elon Musk, and I mean people that are achieving like these
Incredible
levels of success that most people think are absolutely impossible. Like, what's different between us and them?
Nothing. Bigger thinking. It's right
That's
here.
it. That's
Thinking.
Thinking.
Think
So,
bigger.
I feel like some of us come from a different upbringing. So I come from a completely different upbringing. So I had to fix a lot of that junk I brought with me first.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point.
now as I'm getting more successful and getting more comfortable in myself, and I'm a better listener and a better leader, then things are starting to open up.
That's good.
That's how I feel.
It's good
about
stuff. You got any questions for him before I hit him with the next one?
No, but I will say this. I feel like we've known you for a long time, and you're always going to visit with Tony Robbins and Gary Vee and like all these guys. Why do you constantly keep doing that?
I just feel like I gotta, I want to know more. I want to get better. Well, for Gary Vee is a perfect example right now because real estate's changing. There's a lot of changes in our industry, and there's a lot of things coming. And I feel like Gary with social media and what's happening in that realm is in front of what's coming. So I really want to stay in front of that for my real estate business. And for my personal, branding business, I do speaking, I do teaching. I'm a trainer for Keller Williams on a national level, which is a huge, opportunity. So how do I keep myself in front? How do I keep myself where, I'm still
Proactive.
I'm trying to think of a word for it. Not so much proactive, but
Innovative.
Innovative, yeah, kinda. It's weird because now when you go to social media, it's like people look at how many followers you have, how many likes you have. Like that stuff has become. And I know you do. I know. I need to catch up to you guys. So, I think that's important. And Tony Robbins is all mindset, right? So everything I talked about with mindset, it's like I gotta always fix the inside first.
Yeah.
If you want to be successful on the outside, you gotta fix the inside.
It's all number one is mindset. Without mindset, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Right?
So my next question was going to be what you think makes you successful, but it seems like it's mindset that's creating a lot of that success, right?
No, I would say it's part of it. I think I'm just really routine. I'm wicked. I hate structured is like a terrible word, but I just am a routines guy. I do the same things over and over and over,
Consistency?
And it's consistency, yeah. And I feel like I have a routine, and I'm 80. Even with my health, I do a 90-10 diet. 90% of the time I'm super healthy. 10% of the time I goof around, and that's kind of how I.
Like having a cheat day.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll eat, bread or carbs or dessert here and there. So it's not like 100%.
Yeah.
Never ever eat any dessert or something that's not super healthy. And I try to run my business the same way. Do I always do that? No, I would say no. I think I definitely need some improvements in that area.
Yeah.
But it's
You
stuff
just
I'm
show
working on.
back up. So one of the things about you is you create, I feel like you bring in new agents into the business and you turn them into studs. So my question for you is, if I was a brand new agent today starting out in the business, and I wanted to go 0 to 60 and I called you, got a free coaching session, what would you tell me to do? Should I call? Where should I start? What's the one piece of advice that you would give me as a new agent?
Yeah, I would tell you to go all in if you're going to do it. For starters, I feel like that's one of the biggest challenges I see with agents that come in. They have a lot of potential. I've developed some of the top agents. The number one listing guy in our MLS used to be my first buyer, my listing agent back in 2006.
Which we
Jim
just found
Black,
out today.
number one agent in Worcester,
Yep,
was
Jim
my
Black.
listing agent for 5 years. You know what I mean? So these are people that
we actually
were with
interviewed
me.
him too. We'll post the link below.
Jim's
He's a stud.
solid.
Yeah.
Justin Jarbo, Chris Brown, Rookie of the Year last year. Those are our guys on my team. So, but the difference between them and a lot of the other guys is they went all in. They started and they said, you know what, I'm gonna go all in. I don't need to do part-time real estate. I'm going all in. I'm gonna show up every day. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna, make the calls, and I think that's the difference. And I would say that. And plus, where you start with your sphere of influence. It's not complicated. You start with the people that like you and trust you.
And then you call them?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you say what?
You just say, hey, I just got my real estate license. I'm super excited. I'm on this great team. Who do you know? And it's funny, if you call 100 people, we do this every time. We call 100 people, typically you'll find 2 or 3 people that are actually interested in doing something.
Wow.
And they're always super surprised by it.
That's pretty good. So go all in and make the phone calls. Call your sphere.
Yeah, find somebody that knows what they're doing, right? If you're gonna find a mentor, which we all find mentors, right?
Yeah. It's my mentor
This
right
guy's
here.
my
Find
mentor.
somebody. Well, I appreciate that. Find somebody that has done it, has done what you want to do, knows what they're doing, and then follow what they say. Don't. I see so many people come in and they say they want to do it, but then when it comes crunch time, they don't. Their actions aren't the same as what's that old saying? I forget what it is. There's an old
Lead
saying.
the horse to water, but
No,
I can't
it's
make it
like
drink.
That was what
it
he
says
said.
your actions speak so loudly.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah, something like that.
I can't
yeah,
hear what you're saying.
We're butchering the heck out of that poor.
Do
quote.
you have a book that you would recommend for real estate for a new agent?
Book for a new agent. I guess self-serving. I would recommend my book because it's very simple.
What's that right there?
It
Whoa,
really is.
Sales playbook.
We
baby.
wrote it so that it could be really, really simplify the process of connecting with people. It's all about, just reaching out, making connections, getting beyond your limiting beliefs. I think that's a great book. I think The Millionaire Real Estate Agent is a mind-shifting book when it comes to, thinking bigger, right? That to me was a book. It took me a lot of years to understand because Gary talks about, in A Millionaire Real Estate Agent, before you can make $1 million, you really have to think $1 million.
Yep.
And it took me a long time to be able to think like that.
If one of our YouTubers or fans hits you up for a signature and they buy the book, will you sign it
Will
for
you
them?
sign
Yeah,
it
of
for
course I would.
Yeah.
Oh, you give us a
Check
call.
it
We'll
out.
get you a signed
I got a
copy.
signed copy.
Yeah,
if you want it,
definitely.
hit
Of
up
course.
with me. How did they get in contact with you? What's the best way?
Probably my website, davidihill.com,
All right, we'll
or
post
you
that
can go to
link below.
Facebook, David I. Hill. Please, Instagram, same thing. Follow me on Instagram. I'm working on those Instagram.
I see you stepping up your game.
Yeah.
We're reading Jab, Jab, Jab right
Yeah,
now as a team too.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
And if you want to hang out, well, I don't know when this is coming out, but
It's coming out probably tonight.
I'll be in.
It's out right now.
It's live.
Oh, actually, yeah, because
Yeah, it is
I'm
live.
recording Facebook Live too. I forgot.
Oh, this is live?
Yeah.
Oh, what's
so
up?
you guys
What's up,
are on
Facebook?
too.
Woo! You're making
Wow.
us famous.
So
Hey,
before-
follow us on YouTube.
So Gary V is Agent 2021. It's in Miami on the
Yeah.
24th. So we're going down. I'm going with my family. We're going to do 3 days in Disney. Then we're gonna go to Miami. I'm gonna do the Gary V event. We're gonna spend 3 days in Miami, and then we're gonna fly home.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's not a bad deal.
So since we're on your Facebook, if you guys are watching this, follow DNA Realty Group on
Yeah.
YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever it is you have.
Talk-
Any questions we should have asked you that we didn't ask you? And I actually got that from your podcast.
yeah. I think you should have probably asked like, what's next? And what's coming
Oh,
up.
that is amazing.
Wow.
So what's next?
Yeah, well, I want to ask you guys first. Like, tell me what's going on. Like,
So-
tell me about yourself. What's next for you guys?
So
DNA
for
Realty.
us right now, we were kind of in the same scenario as you. We were building a team. We built it a little too fast. It was lopsided. Blew up, and now we're rebuilding. Our goal is to get our production up. We're going to get to 50, then hire an admin, and stick to the MREA, which is a book you
There you
mentioned.
go, yeah.
Stick to the models. But
Yeah.
you told me that, like, 5
Hey,
years. When we met, you told me that.
you
You were
men-
like,
you
don't
mentioned-
recreate the wheel.
You mentioned Jim Rohn earlier. Jim Rohn has a famous quote that says, "Do as I say, not as I do." Right?
That's right,
And
that's right.
I'm guilty of that myself.
Yeah, me
you
too.
know?
And I remember
So-
when we first talked and you actually brought us on, you were like, just follow the book. But everybody has to learn the hard way.
Yeah, I think we're all entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
We want to get creative.
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
So for me, man, I've got some awesome things going. We're building our teams. We're expanding. I'm about to step out of the sales side of the business into a leadership role. Heather is taking over my Worcester team. I'm talking to a couple of rock stars about taking over my West. I'm super excited
Nice.
about what's happening next. And you guys are going to see in a couple of weeks, there's going to be a big change. You're like,
Oh, big
wow.
announcement. Can you tell us?
I can't tell you
Can
right
we get
now.
an
I
update?
can't tell
Can
you
you
right
tell
now.
us the
DNA
You'll
update?
know in mid-February, but I
Oh, we can't wait that
I've
long.
got some awesome things. I'm super excited to let put leadership in place to run my real estate business and turn it into a complete leveraged
Seventh
passive
level?
business. Yeah, absolutely. And then
Seventh
do
level
some
business.
things I'm passionate about, which is what you guys are talking about, finding those talented people, helping those people become
Awesome.
successful.
Yeah.
Just getting out there and having those great conversations
yeah.
and relationships with
And
awesome people.
I heard you making some of those calls today too to recruit and bring on agents, be able to help them and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's all good. Just to wrap up, like, how do people? We already said how do they find you, but tell us about some of the other things you do. Like, I know you got a podcast. What's the name of the podcast?
Thank you, man. Yeah, social media. Podcast is Path to Mastery. I've been
Awesome
fortunate.
podcast.
I've had Gary. I'm not Gary yet. Gary's
I
next on
listened
the
to like
list.
all the episodes.
I've had Grant Cardone. I've
Yeah,
had
that was a
Mel
good one.
Robbins.
I
I've
listened
had
to that one.
Brian Tracy, Tom Hopkins.
Whew.
Plus
DNA Realty Group.
Yeah,
where
you got.
Yeah, we were on the
Some of the
podcast.
top realtors in the country.
Brian
beyond
Tracy.
you guys.
Yeah, we were listening to it. You guys-
Yeah, so
Pat
right,
Hyden.
Pat Hyden twice, and I'm on episode 99, and I put everything on hold
I heard that. I just
January
listened to
1st because episode 100 is for Gary V. So
Gary.
V, if you're
Gary.
listening to this,
Gary V. You're getting
Tom
tagged in
Hanks
the
is
story.
Gary, I met Gary at the Synergy event in October, and I gave Gary a copy of my book, and Gary signed his book for me, and I
Yep.
said, Gary, I'm going to get you on my podcast, and he said, I'm going to make it happen.
He looked you in the eyes and
Said
said
that. And
Ah,
Gary's a man of his word.
He's a
so
man of his word.
I've not been able to make that happen yet. So here's what I did now. I went out and I said to my listeners, I said,
On the
hey, guys,
podcast.
Gary V agreed to be on my podcast, and Gary's going to be episode 100.
Yep.
Well, the problem is I have not been able to, and that was at about episode 83, I think.
Yep.
I have not been able to book Gary.
Ooh.
So now I had to put my podcast on hold because I am not going
Well,
to tell my listeners that Gary's episode 100, and then
We drive up to NYC.
I
all the
know
time.
Gary V follows DNA Realty. So Gary, go ahead
Gary,
and
you
give
gotta-
him a call.
Well, I'm going to see him in a couple weeks, and
Yeah.
we're making that
I'm
happen.
making it happen. I love
That's
it.
awesome.
I love it. Anything else? Final words of wisdom?
And I keep
Do you got
hearing
any
this
final questions?
over again. Is that Mike Tyson quote? Mike Tyson's, it's everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Oh, boom!
And it's
Wow.
it's just so true. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so true, and it's like that.
So what does that
That's
mean?
this business. Well, it means, like I started to say earlier, people come into this business and they feel like, oh, this guy makes a ton of money, he does great, and this one, and they see that, and then they come in and they're like, wow, that was a lot more challenging than I thought. There's
Right.
a lot more contact, there's a lot more rejection. And that's
Yeah.
bang, and then they're like, whoa, and the difference maker is when you get whacked, you just keep coming forward.
Yeah.
That's why today, right? You guys watched me today. I got to destroyed by a Fizbo.
We'll post
Then
that.
I had
We'll
another,
post
yeah,
that.
don't post it. I mean, do what you gotta do. And then I had another one that, you know, went pretty good. I'll
Yeah.
follow up with him again. And then I had someone, you know, so that's how it goes. Some days you're just on, and it's in some days, you know, you don't get it, but it's just consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency. You're not as good as everyone says when you win, and you're not that bad when you lose.
Yeah, I
Vince
think being
Lombardi.
humble and coming from
Yeah.
contribution, and that's it.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
All right, guys, we'll post David's information below if you got any
Next
questions.
time, let me know. I need to wear a jacket.
Yeah, I should have told you. My
You guys
bad.
get nice
We
jackets.
blame David for that.
All right.
Facebook.
All right. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome.
All right.